Hello, good afternoon again. Those who have joined in with the name, please write down your roll number while you are writing P from your chat window so that it is easy for me to identify you. So this last unit is basically of typical ICs. The name itself is specialized ICs. So we have learned about IC 555 timer, where that particular timer can be used to generate square waves in terms of stable multivibrator and monostable multivibrator. Now we'll learn one more IC, which is IC8038. You can see it on the screen that it is a waveform generator. So you have already learned about how to generate square wave as well as triangular wave. All of you can hear me, right? Hello. Okay. So as I was telling, we are learning about specialized ICs. Someone has raised the hand. Do you have any question? So if you have any question, please raise the hands and you can unmute yourself and say something. I mean, say whatever you want to. So as I was telling, this last unit is basically about specialized ICs. We have learned about IC 555 timer, which can be used as an astable and monostable multivibrator. So this is one of the ICs where it generates waveforms. Now, we have already learned about how to generate a square wave and a triangular wave with the help of operational amplifier. I hope you remember this. We have learned it in, I think, unit number 4. So, we have learned about how to generate waveforms, but as in this particular unit, it is given as specialized ICs. These ICs will generate waveforms for you. I mean, this particular typical IC, which is 8038. So it's a waveform generator, this particular IC. And remember, it is given that it is capable of producing high accuracy waveforms, which is very important. So even in the lab sessions, we have used signal generator or function generator. In that also we had uh, waveforms, sine wave, square wave, and triangular, which can be given as input to any circuit. So we also had that huge kind of a device which generates waveforms for us. But this particular typical IC, we will see how what is the size of that. So that is the reason why we have this in the curriculum so that you can make use of these ICs in the projects that you will be doing in the subsequent semesters or in any kind of application that you want to build. And for that reason only we have this unit where we have this different ICs for study. So as you can see, this particular IC8038 is a waveform generator which produces high accuracy waveforms. Uh, what are the different waveforms it can generate? A square, sine, triangular, sawtooth, and pulse waveforms. And what is the important thing as far as this IC is concerned? We can have control over the parameters, which is frequency, duty cycle, and distortion. See, this is very important as far as designing is concerned. When we have control over these parameters which are mentioned, then you can do anything. I mean, for any application, you can make use of these characteristics of this particular IC. When you have control over this, then you can chop and change the parameter, chop and change the components which are connected, and you can always make use of this for various applications. So the range of the frequencies is given here, which is 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. Mm, it is given that it's the best function generator circuit for a beginner to start, and to produce the waveform between 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz, it is useful. So it is actually an audio frequency range, or you can also see it's a low frequency range. So basically, it's an audio frequency waveform generator. What is the requirement, or what are the prerequisites? 8038 has to be operated from a dual power supply, which was also the case with operational amplifiers. We needed dual power supplies. In fact, we needed two dual power supplies. Practically, the frequency can be selected externally. See, the frequency range can be increased by connecting various external components, and we can increase the frequency range more than 300 hertz or zero point 0.3 megahertz. Please mute yourself from your end. So frequency modulation can also be accomplished with this particular IC. Do you know what is frequency modulation? I hope you are learning it in digital communication. So this application is also possible with the help of this IC 8038. So these are some of the this is some information regarding that particular IC. Now, Schottky barrier diodes. I think you have learned it in E. What is Schottky diode? And this particular IC 8038 is fabricated with advanced monolithic technology, using Schottky barrier diodes and thin film resistors. So if you want to go deep into how these ICs are generated, I think it is there for you for study in, I think, third year, that how this particular ICs are fabricated and what are the steps to, for the fabrication of these ICs. So just appreciate that how what technology they are using. It's advanced monolithic technology. If you can search it on the Google, you'll get the details about what exactly it is, if you are interested. What is the advantage of this particular IC? The output is stable over a wide range of temperature and supply variations. So remember, this is very important because we have also seen that in case of operational amplifiers, if there are supply variations and if there are any distortions in the input, how this op amps behaves erratically. So it is very, very important that these factors should also be considered. So the output is stable over a wide range of temperature and supply variations. That means even if there are variations in the supply that you are providing, and even if there are changes in the temperature around, we can produce a stable output. Now, this is one of the advantages. These devices may be interfaced with phase lock loop circuitry to reduce temperature drift to less than 250 ppm per degree Celsius. Now, see, these are some electrical characteristics as far as this IC is concerned. If you see the data sheets of any particular IC, you'll find out that it will be mentioned in that data sheet that these are the advantages or these are the characteristics that you can make use of for a particular application. Now, what are the features? This we have seen that it is low frequency, it has a low frequency drift with temperature, low distortion, high linearity. Linearity is concerned as far as triangular wave is concerned. We have this wide frequency range. You can vary the duty cycle from 2% to 98%. Now we have seen what is duty cycle. It's on time divided by time period, total time period. So if you want to see for different applications, you might be learning it in communication, or you have already learned it in analog communication, that pulse width modulation. In that you might have learned about duty cycle, that how by changing the duty cycle, how you can change the output of a system. So duty cycle is very much important as far as a particular signal waveform is concerned. Now, high level in outputs, TTL to 20, up to 28 volts, we can have outputs. That means the output voltage can be up to 28 volts. See, this we have also seen in case of operational amplifiers, that the supply voltage that can be applied varies with various operational amplifier ICs. So in this particular IC 8038, which is a waveform generator, the high level outputs can be up to 28 volts. Now this is the IC, you can see. And this is the pinout of IC. You can see. Here we have already seen that it works on dual power supply. So there are two pins which are used for dual power supply. One is pin number 6 where you can apply plus VCC, and pin number 11 where you can apply minus VCC. Pin number 13 and 14 are no connections. Pin number 1 has sine wave adjust. See this, then pin number 2 is sine wave output. Third is triangular wave output. 4 and 5 pins are for duty cycle frequency adjust. 7 is for frequency modulation bias. 8 is frequency modulation sweep input. 9th is square output. 10 is timing capacitor. And we'll see what are the uses of this timing capacitor, and what are the different pins, what are the functions of these different pins. Pin number 1 and 12, we have sine wave adjusts. The distortion in the sine wave output can be reduced by adjusting 100 kilo ohm pots connected in pin number 12 and 11 and pin number 1 and 6. So, see, these are the design. These are the. This is the information as far as how to use this particular IC for particular application. Or see, when you want to remove out any distortion in the sine wave, we can make use of a potentiometer which can be connected between pin number 12 and pin number 11 and pin number 1 and pin number 6. You can see here pin number 1 is sine wave adjust as well as pin number 12 is sine wave adjust. So by connecting sine wave adjust to the supply pins, that is V plus or V minus, we can adjust, we can remove out or we can reduce the distortion in the sine wave. Pin number 2 has sine wave output. So sine wave output is available at this pin. The amplitude of the wave is 0.22 VCC, 0.22 of VCC. So whatever will be the supply voltage you are applying, the amplitude of the sine wave will be of the factor 0.22 into that particular voltage, and that particular VCC should be between this range for faithful output, 5 volts to 15 volts. Pin number 3 has a triangular wave output. Again, the amplitude is 0.33 of VCC. So whatever is the VCC you are applying, the amplitude of the maximum amplitude of the triangular wave would be 0.33 into VCC. Pin number 4 and 5, we have seen that it is duty cycle frequency adjust. So what is it exactly? The symmetry of all the output waveforms and 50% duty cycle of the square wave output is adjusted by connecting two external resistors between VCC and pin number 4 and 5. See, as I'm telling you, these are the designing constraints. So for 50% duty cycle, or what do you mean by 50% duty cycle? That means T on time and T off time is same. And if it is like that, then we have 50% duty cycle. So if it is a 50% duty cycle, then the symmetry of the waveform is always there. So for 50% duty cycle square wave output, what we need to do is we need to connect external resistors of equal value between plus VCC and pin number 4 and 5. So these are uh, the designing parameters as far as square wave output is concerned. And the external resistors and capacitors at pin number 10 will decide the frequency of the output waveforms. See, this is actually the excerpt of the entire working of the IC 803A. But if you go through the data sheet of 8038, you will find out that what external, what electrical characteristics you need to consider for different applications. Here it is clearly mentioned that for generating 50% duty cycle for square wave, what we need to do and how the frequency of the output waveform can be adjusted. Pin number 6 is positive supply, uh, which can be between 10 to 30 volts. You can read this. It is pin number 7 is FM bias, which is a junction of two resistors forming voltage divided between supply voltage. This pin, when connected to pin number 8, gives high frequency output. The output frequency of waveform generator is a function of DC voltage at pin number 8 with respect to VCC. This pin along with pin number 8 is used to test the IC 8038. For a proper operation, sweep voltage should be between the range 2/3 VCC plus 2 and VCC. See, as I'm telling you, for different applications, we can make use of different various pins of this IC 803. So, for a frequency modulation purpose, these are the changes, or these are the pins that you need to make use of, so that you can produce faithful output. Pin number 9, we have a square wave output available. Now, what is open collector output? Open collector output, that means there won't be any loading effect uh, at the output, so that it can be connected to different power supply voltages. And so that means it can be cascaded to other electrical circuits. And that is why we have this open collector output, so that there won't be any loading problem as far as square wave output is concerned. We have seen that how the external capacitor C connected to pin number 10 along with the resistors connected to pin number 4 and 5, they decide the output frequency. Excuse me, you can please mute yourselves from your end. Now, if there are any oscillations in the output, those can be halted by connecting pin number 10 to ground. That means this timing capacitor can be directly or without any capacitor. If this pin number 10 is connected to ground, then the oscillations in the output can be avoided. Pin number 11 is minus VE or ground. If in some applications, if you only want a positive supply, then this particular pin can be grounded. So for single polarity supply, we can always connect this pin number 11 to ground, and pin number 13 and 14 are no connection. So this is as far as the pin diagram of IC 8038 is concerned. Remember, you might be thinking that why we have this in the syllabus. The thing is, you can make use of this for different applications or the projects that you'll be doing. So just to make you aware that these are the ICs which are available to generate the waveforms. See, the function generator or the waveform generator that we use in the lab, you have seen that how big or how bulky it is. So it is not possible for you to carry it along with you wherever you want to do projects. So this is one of the solution to it, that you can make use of this particular IC, which you can see it is very small, and by using this particular IC you can generate the waveforms and you can use it in your application. And that is why we need to learn these ICs. That is why they are named as specialized ICs. So whatever you can do with the help of op amps or with the help of the function generators that we use in the lab, same can be done with the help of these ICs. So IC 8038 is a waveform generator. This is the block diagram. So you can see there are two comparators, one flip-flop, two current sources, one buffer, and sine converter. If you see that, even in case of IC 555, we had two comparators, one flip-flop and one transistor. Here we have used two current sources, one buffer, two buffers, and one sine converter. So you can see it can generate a square wave, a triangular wave, and a sine wave. So this is as far as block diagram of IC 8038 is concerned. Now the external timing capacitor C2 in the circuit diagram. if you see, there is a capacitor which is connected externally using by with the help of two internal current sources. It can be charged and discharged. The first current source is on all the time, and the second is switched on and off using the flip flop. See, you can see that in this particular block diagram, there is a capacitor connected at pin number 10 to V minus or ground. So the first current source is always on, and it will always be on, while the second current source will be turned on and off with the help of this flip flop. So whatever is the output of flip flop, or whenever it is set, the switch will be on and the current source will be turned on, or it will be in the circuit. And whenever the flip flop output is zero, the switch will be in off condition and the current source won't be the part of the circuit. So with the first current source is on all the time and the second is switched on and off using flip flop. Suppose second source is off and the first is on, then the capacitor C2 will be charged with a continuous current I, and the voltage across C2 increases linearly with time. When the voltage reaches two-thirds supply voltage, controlling flip-flop is triggered and the first current source is activated. The current source carries stable current, making the capacitor C2 discharge, and the current I and the voltage across it drops linearly with time. So if you see the similarity between IC555 and this particular IC8038, it's same. When the voltage reaches one-third of supply voltage, the flip-flop is resetted to initial condition and the cycle is repeated again and again. So you can see it is the working is as same as what we have learned for IC555. Whenever the voltage is more than two-third VCC, the flip-flop is triggered to set and the first current source is activated. That means it is in the circuit now. And whenever the voltage is less than one-third of supply, the flip-flop is resetted and to the initial condition and the cycle repeats itself. So this is how you generate the waveform with the help of 8038. What are the applications? Ultra low frequency oscillator, ultrasonic remote control, precision waveform generator, and to generate different waveforms of sine square, triangular, sawtooth, etc. Now this is one of the applications with the help of IC8038. You can produce an audio oscillator with the help of IC8038. So you can see that they have made use of all the all the pins of IC8038, and with the help of that, you can always generate the waveforms between the range, audio frequency range, that is 20 Hz to 20 kilohertz. So it's given that how can we generate an audio frequency wave? It is given here. So as far as 8038 is concerned, uh, it is basically a waveform generator primarily, but by using different external components, you can always use it as an audio oscillator or for any other applications. So you can see the frequency range is between 20 Hz to 20 kilohertz. So, and that is why it is called as audio oscillator. And IC8038 is actually used to generate the oscillations at the output. Okay. So this is as far as IC8038 is concerned. Now we'll see what is LM324 IC and for what purpose it is used. It is basically a 14-pin IC. There are 4 operational amplifiers which are there in this particular IC LM324. You know that op amps are very high in electronic voltage amplifiers, and they have differential input and single-ended output. The one of the advantages is these op amps are operated with a single power supply, which is LM324. So with a single power supply, that means the need for dual power supply is eliminated. This LM324, with the help of operational amplifiers, can be used as comparators, oscillators, rectifiers, etc. And conventional op amp applications can be more easily implemented using LM324. See, LM324, why we are learning this? Because the central component as far as analog circuits is concerned is an operational amplifier. So this LM324 can be used along with this operational amplifier for different applications. I mean, with the help of this LM324, whatever applications we have learned, those can be easily implemented. So this is the block diagram of LM324. You can see there are four comparators which are there. Fourth pin is plus VCC and 11th is ground. So you can see there is only one power supply in case of LM324 and four comparators. Okay. Now the pin descriptions are given here. You can always see it. I've just included this particular slide just to give a description, but you can see it here that one is comparator one. Pin number one is the output of comparator one, while pin number 2 and 3 are the inputs. 3 is non-inverting, 2 is inverting. Similarly, you can even see in the block diagram that what pins are used for what purpose. So this is the only thing which is given here. Supply voltage you can apply it up to 32 volts. Minimum is 5 volts. What are the features? You can see it has an integrated 4 op amps. Then wide power supply range is minus 3 volts to 32 volts. See, if you want to make use of the dual power supply, then it should be between 1.5 to 16 volts. For a single power supply, it should be from minus 3 volts to 32 volts. But as far as LM324 is concerned, it is used as a single power supply. Supply current is very low. It has a reliable operation. It has a temperature, operating temperature range is between 0 degrees Celsius to 70 degrees Celsius. So these are some of the features of LM324. And where can we use this please mute yourself from your end. So LM324 is applicable for oscillators, amplifiers, rectifiers, comparators. Robot like line following. So the LM324 as comparator can be employed as far as robot like line following. Hello, someone has unmuted themselves. So LM324 as a comparator can be employed as a robot like line following. And as I've told you, by using this IC, with the help of this IC, conventional op amp applications can also be implemented very easily. So this is as far as LM324 is concerned. We'll learn about OP07 and one of the power amplifier with the help of op amp in the next lecture. So this is the only 2 bits which are remaining in the last unit. I request all the participants, those who have any doubts, please raise your hand or unmute yourself and say whatever you want to say. As far as syllabus is concerned, I think we are 95% done. The only two bits which are remaining that we'll cover it in the next lecture. I have shared all the notes as well as videos or video lectures with you. I know it is very difficult to just study from the notes which are shared as well as the video lectures. So if you have any doubts while studying, you can always, mm, I mean, ask me any doubts. You know my mail ID. You can always mail whatever your queries are, and I'll definitely try and solve those queries. But I hope, as far as analog circuits is concerned, we are almost done with the syllabus. We have already finished with the ICs. IC1 was a bit difficult, or most of you couldn't actually score marks, but IC2 was kind of easy for you. Most of you have done brilliantly. So I think you have compensated for IC1. Even UT1, most of you have scored good marks. So I hope that's it for today. We'll meet on Monday for the last lecture. If you want any other mm, concepts to be explained till 30th of April, you can always tell me. We can have extra lecture. So please let me know because unless you speak, I won't be able to understand. So it's up to you that you give me the feedback. So I hope you have written P from your end for this lecture. If not, please do it. We have 1 minute left. If anybody wants to say something, they can unmute themselves and talk. If not, I'm ending the meeting from my end. Thank you so much for your time.